Joining me now, Barbara Heineback, who's a former press officer for First Lady Rosalind Carter and strategic consultant with the Clinton administration. Thanks for your time. Look, what's been interesting about this is the sort of common perception that it had to be maybe Jill Biden, maybe Barack Obama that would tap Joe Biden, is that he is not going regardless. But what this has meant is other Democrats are saying, well, if you won't, under any circumstances, we're going to speak out. This appears to be building momentum.
It is building momentum, and thanks for having me today. But what I see taking place is they tried to get the man to save face. You know, he's been in politics for over 50 years. Though he hasn't been the best president, he's basically considered a very nice guy. Joe said the other day that he absolutely would not, only if God himself asked him during the interview that was the follow-up of the poor debate that he had given. And when George Stephanopoulos asked him if he would not go, and that several of his colleagues on the Democratic side were asking him to leave, he said it would take an act of God. And therefore, I have to wonder, the Democrats tried to help him go out the side door gracefully. Now I believe the only alternative they have is to watch him fall on his own sword. And that's a pathetic ending to a man that's had 50 years in politics. But the excuses that he and his staff have been using is that he's been ill and that he'd just gotten back from Europe. Well, just getting back from his trips to Europe was over 12 days.
Yeah.
He had 6 days of prepping him for this debate.
And it's not a one-off as a pattern is the other aspect to this. Look, I don't know whether he had a cold, maybe he did, but this is how he looks most of the time. Now, I guess the other thing about that interview that you mentioned, when he said, when he was asked, would you regret it if you ran and then Donald Trump won? He said, well, look, as long as I've given it my best shot. And Democrats are saying, hang on, it's not about your best shot. This is not a participation award. This is the presidency against someone that Democrats despise and fear in terms of the future of the country. Whatever you think of him, that's what the Democrats think of Donald Trump. So setting that bar has got tongues wagging as well.
It certainly does, because there are so many things that weigh in the balance. First of all, that is Joe Biden indicating that it's all about him and that he has forgotten what the first position of the presidency is all about. Number one, the security of your country. And when you're thinking of security, it's all about your borders. And when you have no border control, you risk the sovereignty of your state because it's protecting your citizens. Joe Biden has knocked down more than 90 executive orders, and so many of those have to do with the border, or with immigration, I should say. And knocking down so many executive orders, what he has done is put America in peril. The numbers are looking like they're up to about 500,000 people that Biden has allowed to come into the country illegally. And he's done that for the Democrats, hopefully to garner more votes from people that are coming in, mostly a lot of them from Latin America, but it's not from where they come. The problem is they're not being viewed, they're not going through the process to become an American citizen or to live in the US. They're just illegally walking across the border. Some have been flown in. At least under Donald Trump, he had worked with the president of Mexico, holding them in Mexico. And then when it comes to some of the cages of separating children from their from elders, it was done under Barack Obama, actually, who built those cages at the border. And it was done to protect young children from being snatched into slavery, snatched into sexual rings and other things that have been so anti-American.
We're going to leave it there a bit short on time. Barbara Heineback, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Tom.